and welcome to another issue of my podcast, Tanya Talks. Who am I talking to today? Somebody I've wanted to get my hands on for quite a while, and I mean that in the best possible way. Yeah, exactly. Best fight. I have with me the amazing Corey Dissin. Hello.
What do you say, Tanya? Good to finally see you. It's been a long time.
It has been a long time. I've followed your career with interest. That sounded really silly, but you know what I mean? I'm always looking at what you post, and you've got such a strong brand, and I think I've got quite a strong brand. I thought, yeah, I like what this guy's got to say, and I want to know more. And I also like the fact that you have such a positive, you have such a great kind of catchphrase, and your catchphrase is "Go get it," right?
There it is.
Go get it.
Do you know what? It's go get it. But for the listeners, yes, it's go get it. Everything you do in voiceovers and in life.
Correct. Do you know what my catchphrase is?
Go on. Do tell.
Nobody cares. Work harder.
That's a good one.
It's not bad, is it?
I subscribe to that.
It's inspirational.
It's the truth.
It is the truth. Thank you. So, welcome, Corey, and thank you for doing this with me. I chose you as a guest because I wanted to have you here for ages, but I also saw a post on LinkedIn and I thought, this man, he's certainly how it is. This is how I like it. Talking about what's going on in the state of the voiceover industry. And I really liked what you had to say. And I think we agree on a lot of points. But I think before we even get to that, maybe people in the UK, maybe who don't know who you are. I mean, where have you been if you don't know who this man is, if you're in the voiceover industry? But if you don't, Corey, can you give us a bit of background about you and what you do and all that stuff?
Sure. Well, first the earth cooled, then the dinosaurs came. I've been working in the voiceover and post-production field for about 31 years now. And I got my start managing, I'll call him a youngster, Paul Turner. Paul Turner, you might not know him by name, but Paul Turner was famous for being the voice of the Howard Stern show.
Oh, right.
And I managed his career for a decade. And we did quite a lot of work for the Howard Stern of the UK, Chris Moyles, and the Breakfast Show.
Yes.
So we're very familiar with Chris. I ran Paul's career, was the liaison between his agents and his clients, also ramped up. He had a production studio, Paul Turner Productions, where we were making local commercials. We were doing promos, radio imaging, etc. And then in 2003, the company was sold. Paul left just to pursue just his voiceover work. I stayed with the production company, built that into a multi-million-dollar operation with a brick and mortar studio and several producers on salary. And we were cranking out on a slow month, about 600 projects a month.
Whew.
And so, I've been around the voiceover business a while. I've written, I've casted, I've auditioned, I've booked, I billed tens of millions of dollars of inventory for, clients large and small. This is the only way that I've earned a professional living since I'm 19 years old. I'm much older than that now, even though I may not look it.
You don't look it.
I'm in my 50s now. Let's just leave it at that.
Okay.
And in about 2016, 2017, there was a couple of points in my life that sort of converged. One was, hey, I've been with this company 25 years. I don't want to buy it. I'm pretty well paid. I got all kinds of perks, but I was feeling a little unfulfilled. That I was going to take it as far as it can go. Mm-hmm. And at the same time, my youngest son, who God bless is now a professional athlete, at the time he was in high school, we sort of saw the writing on the wall with his trajectory that he was either going to go to a very good college to play ball or go into the pros out of high school. And I did not want to be chained to a zip code or a building when that happened. So I developed what I like to call a Shawshank plan. If you don't know what a Shawshank plan is.
I do. I do know what a Shawshank plan is.
So that's very much based on the Shawshank Redemption. I built the Shawshank plan and I said in due time, I didn't have an exact, time period, but I said in time, I'm going to break free from the being an employee and be 100% entrepreneur. And I'm going to take care of myself 100% from that income and have the freedom to follow my son as he goes. And in July of 2020, I walked away from the production company cold because of this whole thing with social media and helping other voice actors to market themselves. It grew to such a level that, thank goodness, I could pay my bills and eat off of the money that I earned from it. And I've
Yeah.
been doing it ever since.
So that's amazing. I mean, to have that moment when you think I can do this on my own, and you've built it up and you've got this reputation, you've got the clients, you've got the expertise. And I love the idea of the Shawshank Plan. Just for those of people who don't know what that is, as you said, it is based on the film and the book by my hero of a writer, Stephen King. I've got every single book he ever wrote, right from the first ones in 1975 when I was a mere baby. And yeah, it's a brilliant story. And if anybody's listening to this who's never seen that film or read the book, for goodness sake, what's the matter with you? Go and watch it, read it.
Yeah.
It's a brilliant idea. It's a great thing.
Then come back to this podcast, watch it,
and then come back to this podcast, and then you know what we're talking about. Yeah.
There you go.
So you did that, and then ever since you've obviously built this brand. And when I saw you first, I was like, wow, there's this huge man. Well, I mean, as I say, because you go to the gym, right?
A little bit.
So yeah, a little bit.
So, up and put them down.
Yeah. So you've got this image of yourself looking incredibly strong and fierce, and in control, and really having this image, image, which of course will attract a lot of people who will want to get a little bit of that. They want a bit of Corey. They want a bit of that strongness, that strength.
I got enough to go around.
But they don't have to go to the actual gym to get that, do they?
No. But I mean, look, you kind of just stole my thunder there, and that's
sorry.
what the branding is. The branding is it's not, and look, what you see is what you get. This isn't an act.
No, like me.
I go to the gym regularly. I'm a strong person. I'm independent minded. I'm outspoken, and I encourage the people who work with me and partner with me and I want to empower them to do the same.
Yeah.
To take control of their life and their career, and don't let anybody push them around, literally and figuratively.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is more or less exactly the reason why I coach, because I want to build confident voices that can do everything on their show reel and more, that can go into any situation, 1 director, 20 directors, no director. And I always say, it's okay to feel nervous because it's a new situation, but not because you don't know what you're doing, because nothing saps your confidence more than feeling out of your depth. So you need to feel anchored and grounded and understand techniques. You have to understand industry language. You have to understand humanity, really. And so I build in confidence to my coaching to make my voices really confident, and they handle everything with aplomb. And they'll say, I was like the swan, on the outside all graceful, and inside my feet were doing flapping under the water. And that's fine, because we've all had situations like that. I'm sure as we start to build our careers, there's nothing wrong with that as long as nobody else can see it. It's not really fake it till you make it, but you can. No. It's not fake it till you make it, because you've got to have the talent, but you don't want to be going to tell people, oh, I don't think I can do that, or bursting into tears, or even if you feel like bursting into tears, you can't do it.
Confidence comes with being prepared.
Yeah, absolutely.
And also confidence projects competence.
Yes, I love that. It does.
If you are confident, that is a magnet for people.
Yeah.
And before they even listen to what you sound like, before they even go to what your demo is, that's how you get the doorbell to ring, is putting yourself out there and saying, hey, look at me. I can take care of you. You can feel confident and safe and assured that you're dealing with a professional who's been there and done that. Oh, and by the way, I sound pretty good too.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. I couldn't have put that better myself. I think if you do project that, it's like having confidence in everything you do. If I ever want to go, this is just like going off the subject of voice, but if I'm ever out and I need to go and visit the ladies' room, I don't want to go to some horrible thing. I've got to put some money in a slot. I want to go into a nice hotel. And I've always taught my daughter, I said, walk through that lobby as if you own that hotel. Just walk through, don't make eye contact with them. Just and if they do, just say, I'm using the services, thank you. And just go. And nobody will ever stop you. And they never do. I've never been stopped now. But I know that's
a microcosm of how you should conduct your life.
Yes. Yeah.
Everywhere you go, I mean, it's an old adage, walk in as if you own the place, but it works.
Yeah, and it doesn't mean you're arrogant. This is something I
No.
try and explain. I have had people in my life, in my career, try to make me feel bad for being confident in my abilities and competent in my abilities. And because I'm female, they would never do it to a man. Never, never do it to a man. At least they're not to his face. But to me, they'll go, oh, really, you think a lot of yourself. I mean, I've actually had that said to me. And it's insulting and it's irritating. And it makes me go like the Hulk, Tanya smash,
There's
It
no
makes me
wonder
cry.
why you and I get along. That's all I can say.
Oh, believe me, if I didn't have chronic arthritis, Corey, I'd be a kickboxer. Trust me.
There you go.
Inside here, there's a
I would not get
lion.
in the ring with you for sure.
Well, I don't know
I'm a
about
delicate
that.
flower. You got to be careful.
I am a delicate flower, only physically though.
There you go.
Inside, I'm solid steel.
There you go.
So,
I love it.
So I'm going to ask you some questions. I'm going to have to look at my screen because there's such a lot of information about you because you've been around so long, and I mean that in a nice way. So you've told us all about your connections, and so I wanted to ask you some industry musings, I suppose we can call them.
Sure.
So, what drives you mad about the current state of the voiceover industry?
How much time do we have? That was one of the reasons why I sort of chose the niche that is mine, that is my lane in the voiceover world, because I would very much like to think it's not occupied by a lot of people, because I have a certain way of not only thinking, but communicating what I think. Because I think my opinion is there are many other people that think the same way, but they're scared to death to tell everybody because they're afraid of some repercussions or blacklisting or something by the voiceover community, which drives me insane. And it, unfortunately, look, I am a huge fan of the voiceover world. The voiceover industry has given me so many gifts in my life. I've been very fortunate, as a professional, and it's because of the experiences that I've had and the people that I've been around that when I see what's going on right now, I feel compelled to shine a light on what I'm seeing and alert the voiceover public like, that's not really kosher.
Mm.
I think that a lot of the voiceover world is misled, distracted, lost is maybe a good word I'll use. And they're confusing consuming the culture with doing the work.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's very misleading, and it's very strange to me because I never would say I could do something unless I can really do it. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't say like, oh, I can do a bit of gardening. Well, maybe gardening's not a good option, but you know what I mean? I wouldn't say to a chef, oh, I can do a bit of cooking. Do you know what I mean?
There's a big difference between a professional chef and someone who cooks a meal at home.
Correct.
There's a huge difference. The problem in our world is we have a lot of cooks at home putting themselves out there as sous chefs or 5-star chefs.
Yeah.
And that's just on the coaching side or the influencer side or the opinion shaper side. I mean, there's a whole public out there that puts these same people on some weird cult-like pedestal, and they gush over them like groupies, like, if I can just get in their good graces, that will help my career.
You're right.
And I'm out there saying, you don't need any of these people. It's so not important. And people look at me like I'm from Mars, like I have some sort of flat earth mentality. Like, are you kidding me? What they didn't exist until 5 or 6 years ago.
Oh my goodness. Happy dance.
I mean,
you're right.
It's a shame. Look, I respect how anybody wants to try to earn a living and support their family.
Yes,
none of my business. However, when it turns into commerce, when you're taking people's money.
Oh, this is where we are so on the same page as well.
You've gotta be forthright. You gotta be honest. You gotta tell the truth, and put out a service that you can put your head down on the pillow at night and go, I did right by somebody.
Yeah. I mean, I could be a lot richer if I just took on all the work, all the coaching, and all the make, certain things that people want. When people come to work with me and Richcraft, the Richcraft team, Alicia is one of my coaches, Alicia and Bob and Greg. But obviously, it's the methods that we teach are the Richcraft method, which is my methods, and they're the methods I use every day, and they work, and they really do work. And I teach them techniques. So the thing about it is, and if I took everybody on, and then people will come on and say, how long do you think it'll be before I can make a show reel? And I'll go, I don't know. And they go, what do you mean you don't know? And I'll say, because how long is a piece of string? At the end of the day, you will make a show reel when I and you know that you are ready. And I had a guy this week, and he wanted to he's been working towards his show reel for about a year now. And he was, just not progressing. So I almost said, look, shall we just draw a line under this? And then he went, no, I'm going to really push through, which he did. And then basically he had a lesson, and it was like, am I ready? And I said, there's a few things you're doing today which I don't want you to do in the future. So no, but if you don't do that the next lesson, then you're clear. And he came, we did it, and he went, well, and I went, you got to make your show reel. And he was like, oh, and it means such a lot to them, because they know that they've had to work so hard to get there. Because I'm not just going to say, I don't parrot feed my students. I don't go, oh, that's a nice carpet. Where did you buy it? That's a nice carpet. Where did you buy it? I'm not doing that. They've got to do it from their own brain, because I won't be there when they're working.
It's called integrity.
It is called integrity. And I have bags of it, but it doesn't make any money.
Well, it'll make money from the right person who understands that. And that, it's kind of a high wire act, because like I told you about my thoughts on the community, on the culture, a lot of the purveyors, let's just call them, are more interested in keeping these people in their bubble,
yes,
than they are about them leaving the nest and making money. Because all of that, those distractions, all of those shiny objects out there, events, etc., conferences, we can go on, is predicated on you're not good enough.
Yeah.
You're not good enough, get another demo. You're not good enough, go to this conference and go to this session and learn from this speaker who was paid to be here. Yeah. You're not good enough, you're not ready enough, buy more coaching. Which is different than what you're doing. You're holding it to a standard. I spoke to someone who's now working with me, who's been waiting 3 years, and the guy's not bad. I would tell him I wouldn't take his business if he stunk. Yeah, no. People are. It's injecting fear. Go out there, and I tell people, go out and make a mess. Go out and do a bad job. Go out and stick your neck out, and don't be afraid to get it chopped off. Because, like I said, when you have all these people just going through the revolving door and going through, standing behind the velvet rope and going from this event to this web conference to this award show to this coach to this demo, that's all they're doing. Then when you ask them, how much did you bill in 2024? And they'll tell you, well, I billed $12,000. I mean, I'm pulling a number out of the air. Okay, what's preventing you from making more money? Well, I have a day job. Well, that's the issue. The issue is you're walking around with a giant safety net.
Yeah.
Go out and have the pressure to feed your family and pay your mortgage and pay the lease on your Lexus, on your voiceover money, and I guarantee you will act a little bit differently about how you try to acquire
Absolutely. Business. Oh, yeah. I mean, this is it. At the end of the day, I've earned my own living since I was 16 years old. I've never really, had anything given to me. I've never had a mentor. I've never had anybody. I don't want you to start crying now, Corey, but I've never had anyone on my side in the sense of, for my career, pushing me or being supportive. In fact, I've had the opposite in times, where I've been really treated quite badly by one particular male producer, because I had the temerity to actually call him and say, hey, this is in the old days when there was only 4 female voices going all around England, which I realize is a tiny place for you, but it's a big place for us. And we would go from radio station to production house to TV station, whatever. And it was normal. If I was going to your place, I'd say, oh, I'm going to be there. Can I come and see you if you've got any work? And this one particular guy said he hadn't. And then I heard on the grapevine from somebody I knew, said, look, I'm going to tell you, don't bother phoning that guy again. He's not going to work with you. And I said, well, why is that? And he said, because he didn't like the fact that you called him and asked if you wanted a voice. I said, but that's what we all do. That's the job. That's what we do. And he said, yeah, it's because you're a woman. He said, the guys do that, but women shouldn't do that. It's too pushy. You're too pushy. I was like, what? I was just doing my job, and it made me so mad. And I'd never even met this person, and I never worked for him again. I never worked for him, even though he got quite big in the industry, because just of a phone call, which everybody made. So the thing is with that, that was a ridiculous thing that happened, but sticking your neck out, there you go, sticking your neck out and getting it chopped. But I do think if you stick your neck out or stick your voice out before you're ready and you blow it because you're not good enough, you won't work again for that client. And repeat business is the lifeblood of any voice actor or anybody, actually. You've got to get it right. You've got to be better than they expect, because you can always tell when people have worked with bad voices, when they work with, especially with my voices, they're like, oh, what is this magic? You can read a script to time all the way through without stopping. Wow, that's clever. No, it's not. It should be the norm for everybody. You've got to be careful with that. I do think, don't you think so? Because if you go out and you're not prepared and you get it wrong, you are in the danger zone.
It's a high wire act. It's a bit of a balancing act, because you have to have some sort of knowledge, preparation, information, and you have to apply that information to grow with your craft.
Yeah.
Obviously. But there are people that, like I said, in my view, from what I'm seeing, even people who have gotten all the coaching, have professional sounding demos, they participate in these groups. I'm trying to be
I know exactly what you're saying.
I'm trying to be tactful in my language. They participate in these groups thinking that is the way business is done.
Yeah,
that is what it takes to have a successful voiceover career. I mean, obviously, if you're going to learn to drive a car, you have to learn how to drive it correctly. Okay. Yeah. And that's how you get a license. That's how you get insurance, etc. So in that sense, yes, there's a certain level of education, but also at some point I would push back and say, at some point it becomes subjective.
Yeah, I mean, the problem, there's a few issues there. So the first thing I was going to say about going to conferences and going to, things like talks, if there is somebody that's doing a talk and I know they're really good, or they're respected, or they're a casting director that I want to put myself in front of as a voice actor, I would do that. And people say, oh, you never stop learning. No, that's true. You never stop learning. But at a point, most of what you do is like, falling off a log. It's a piece of cake. And it's nice to get pushed out of your comfort zone by a director sometimes. Excuse me. But so that's okay. But there are people that do, as you say, go to all the coaching, do the reels. They all sound great. But actually, the standard of coaching they've had has not been good enough actually to sustain them as voiceovers independently, because they've been told everything that they do is wonderful. They haven't been given technique, because if you haven't got any technique, it doesn't matter if you've got the best voice in the world if you don't know how to use it properly and sustain it. So it's like going to therapists who won't let you go. Oh no, surely there must be another door we could open into your psyche. It's that, as you say, holding on to people. And then they never have that confidence to break free.
Well, the goalpost has been moved. I think that's the point I want to make.
Yeah.
The goalpost used to be, are you earning money? Are you earning a living? Is that your profession? And when I grew up, a profession meant you did that for a living. Yes. You didn't do it for funsies. You didn't do it as a hobby. If you're a professional, whatever, you wouldn't go to a freelance cardiologist. You wouldn't go to a part-time dentist.
No.
You want to deal with professionals that this is how they operate. This is all they do. This is their area of expertise. The point I'm making is, because this is all pervasive, there's been what has developed what I call a second place mentality in the voiceover world. And here's what a second place mentality is. Okay? It's not, you don't have to win the audition anymore. You just have to have it liked on some website. Oh, I got a like on my audition. I'm doing something right. You don't even have to win the audition. You can just be shortlisted. Shortlisted, if what it really means is you didn't win the gig. Somebody else got picked, not you. Your shortlist means, that's what it means. Okay?
I know.
Getting nominated, celebrating a nomination for an award. This one is a head scratcher for me.
Mm.
And everyone is humbled. Oh, I didn't win, but I'm humbled I was considered. You didn't win.
And also, why are you humbled? This word humble, it's so overused.
Oh, please.
It
Yeah,
really
exactly.
irritates me.
And here's the best one. Getting an award for a demo. So let me make sure I understand this, voiceover public. You paid someone to produce up some audio artwork, because that's what it is. Very nice sounding audio, most of which never saw the light of day, never was for a real client. It was all on spec. So we're taking work someone else did for work that never happened, and you're getting awarded for that, not the actual spot that aired and made that company money. So it's these different levels of, I'm a winner. No, you're not a winner. You got an award for a demo. No, you didn't get the award. You got the nomination. That's not a winner. You lost. That's second place. That's a second place mentality. I had a coach growing up. I was an athlete growing up. And, to this day, I still talk to him. He's a much older man. And we were having lunch. This wasn't too long ago. And we joked about the scoreboard. He said, if it wasn't important who won or who lost, they wouldn't keep score.
I love this. This is perfect. You're right.
And keeping score is, I'm going to reach over here. You can't, for those not watching the video, I'm holding my checkbook. There's your
for people in England that don't know what a checkbook is anymore, because we stopped using them about 25 years ago. Okay, it used to be a way you paid money. No, it's just the Americans love checks. I have no problem with checks. But
my point is to show me you supported yourself for a decade on the money you made from voiceover. There's a winner. I'll introduce you to some winners. And I'm talking to a winner right now.
But it's interesting, Corey. You say to me, I have won 2 awards for best outtake. I have never won an award for the actual genuine work I've ever done. Never. And I don't think I ever will, personally. Not because I'm not good enough. I just don't think I will win an award. But I don't need an award because actually, yes, it's love. Yes, it's all very nice dressing up and all that, and getting the thing. And I love getting the outtake ones because, I usually swear and they're usually quite rude and that's funny. But, and they're genuine as well. But, at the end of the day, as you say, the reward is the checkbook. The reward is the clients coming back to you. I mean, I had a client coming back to me. This was really funny. 20 years ago, I don't remember. Most jobs I do, unless they're really fun, exciting, or a pain in the ass, I forget them, right? So they've gone. I don't remember. Came to me and said, 20 years ago, you made some videos for me. It was when we had to copy the videos onto cassette and all, and all that.
Oh, wow.
I said, oh, right. Yes. Did I? Thinking, oh God, who are you? Who are you? Anyway. And he said, I've got a new business. I've never forgotten you. Would you come back to me and do it? I said, yes. So I did it. And this is where it also is another thing with voices, because it's all about your voice age. It's not about your real age. It's what you actually sound like.
Your voice
which is, really irritates me when people say, I want somebody that only sounds like the 20. Well, if you're 40 and you sound 20, does it matter? It's all about the voice age. So anyway, I did the thing for him and he said, I can't believe it. I've just compared it to the one you did 20 years ago and you sound the same. And I said, that's because I'm in league with the devil, clearly. But, and he said, well, how do you do that? And I said, because that's what my job is, to keep my voice fresh. And that's what I do. But that's my reward. When I get repeat business, when I get proper payment as well, not getting screwed down on a pay to play on some ridiculous money that they're putting out there because the agency have skimmed so much off the top.
Sure.
But yeah, I don't think I shall ever win an award. I mean, I wouldn't turn it down if I did. Don't get me wrong. But I don't think I ever will. It's honest.
Something tells me I won't be getting invited to too many award shows.
Do you get invited now, though?
I haven't been invited lately, but there was a big one I was invited to 2 years in a row that I politely declined. But that's okay. I mean, look, to each his own. But if you're entering the voiceover business and you're not earning a full-time living at that business, you have no business attending those things.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's such a misnomer in many ways, isn't it? It's a very difficult one, I think, because obviously, one of the reasons I think people go to conferences, particularly when they do know other voices, is to see each other. Because in the old days, before ISDN and all those things, we did see each other all the time. And then it all went like really strange. And then, in England, we started a thing called, well, we didn't, I didn't, a thing started called Vox. And it was great fun. The first time we'd seen each other, some of us in 7 years. And it was just amazing to see all these producers. And that's changed over the years to become more commercial and different. And I do think that's one of the reasons people go. I get asked to do workshops and things, and I do them on subjects that that I think a lot of people aren't doing. So I do a lot of audio drama and stuff, which people like. But sometimes it does make me wonder when knowing, I don't know, how experienced I am. And I know not everybody can be as experienced as I am because they're younger than me, but there are, as you say, people perhaps giving talks or things, and you think, well, I don't know who you are. What's your reputation? How much voiceover do you actually do? Because I'm a voiceover that coaches, and I only coach a bit. This is what people don't get with me. I coach because I say it's genuine. It's the only way I can give back. I'm not wealthy enough to say, here's the scholarship, the Tanya Rich Foundation. I would if I won the lottery. Yeah, sure. Here's a Tanya Rich Foundation. Have a cigar, But I give back by training properly good voices. And I could put any of my graduates in front of you with your director's head on, and I know you'd be pleased with the result. So that's why I do it.
The thing that irks me, and this is, okay, it's the voiceover world, but it's also in the entrepreneurial world, because because I work with people in all different types of industries. I just happen to have one particular silo that is the voiceover world, is that there's all of this information, quote unquote, and education, quote unquote. There's all of that out there. And you would think with the litany of all of that information and education that's out there, everywhere you can throw a rock or click your mouse, that you would have an endless line of successful voiceover people.
You should do.
The problem is not the information and education. So don't get me wrong. I don't approve of these conferences and all that nonsense, but a lot of the people that participate and give talks, they're not completely unqualified.
No, not at all. No,
they have
some
plenty,
really good people.
Plenty to add. My point is, it's not the information or the education, it's the application.
Yeah.
People, they leave a conference, they leave an award show, and the honeymoon is in bloom, and they're feeling wonderful, and they're buzzing with excitement, and they're warm, and they're fuzzy, and they've gotten all of that validation, and they met their idol, and et cetera, et cetera. And then 3 months later, they're back where they started, and they're thinking about getting their tickets for next time.
I think it's an addiction, really.
Boy, it's so crazy you use that word, Tanya. Addiction. I was literally getting ready to say.
I've done that to you twice now. I'm psyching.
Getting ready to say these events and whatnot we're talking about, it's very much a dopamine hit. Yeah. And once that fades off, it's just like any other drug. You got to get double dosed to feel the same way you went the first time. Yeah. And it definitely, I'll use the word, and maybe people are going to rake me over the coals for this, and that's fine. I could take it. They're getting preyed upon for that reason, is that they know they're going to come back. Of course, it's a positive experience. You're dressed up. Everybody smells good. The food is nice. Everyone is patting each other on the back. Nice to meet you. Let's take a selfie. Let's do the red carpet. It's a built-in feel good, fuzzy time. Yes, but what happens afterwards? Yeah. The doorbell is still not ringing for these talent. They have an association here, and you might have heard of it. It's called NAVA. It's relative.
Yes, I have.
Okay.
Yeah.
Reputable people, well-intentioned people that put it together. Hats off to them. Very noble effort. In their own data, they put together a survey once a year called the Voiceover State of the Union, or something they call it. Mm-hmm. Their data, more than 50% of the people surveyed earn less than 10 grand a year.
In America, as a voice actor as well. Because in America, you get paid a lot more money than we do. Extends,
like they pull from several different reputable groups and whatnot. I think they surveyed, 2,000 people. It's a decent enough sample size. But my point is, that's what the metric you should be looking at.
Yeah. Yeah.
If all of this stuff was productive. And if
Yeah.
all of this stuff was such a benefit, that number should not be that way.
No, I agree. I think the thing is, as I say, as we said, going to conferences, it is, and can be a nice thing. It can be fun, and it's nice to say, "Oh, hello, I haven't seen you for a year," and that's fine as long as you accept it for what it is. But if you think you're going to go there and it's going to magically make you a better voice, or because at the end of the day, even if you go to the conferences, you meet all your heroes, you get in the right talks. If you can't do it, if you haven't got the stuff, or you haven't been taught it, you're not going to work and become your heroes, are you? You're just going to stay you with your daytime job and your little bit of voicing on the side for ACX.
And to put a big bow on everything we've been talking about and make a big circle to come back to the start.
Yeah.
This is why I have a business. Because I say, pay attention to this over here, not the shiny object over here.
Yeah, it is a bit.
Get stuff done. Learn how to get in front of people. Learn how to create attention, learn how to be remembered. Then once you do that, then go light it up on the microphone, make some money, and then go to the show.
Yeah.
Otherwise, what are you doing this for? And people are investing a lot of money, not just with me, but in gear. And I hear it all the time. Oh, I saved up. I got the pennies between the sofa cushions so I could go to this conference. And I was going to say rip my hair out, but I don't have it.
Well, you've clearly done that, haven't you, already?
And it's just maddening, Tanya. It's just maddening. So, I mean, when you gave me the opportunity and you reached out and said, hey, we got to talk, I was like, wow, I'm all over this. We got to do it.
Well, yeah, because it's not I need to make this clear. We're not dissing people's good intentions here. No pun on your name, by the way. We're not dissing people's good intentions. We're not saying that it's not fun to go to a conference or anything like that. Well, I think what we're trying to say is, if that's all you do and you do have this dopamine hit and then it wears off because you're not earning, you've got to reevaluate your career. I think when I was a voice actor, first of all, or voiceover as we were just called then, now we have to be voiceover actors because we act as well. Basically, people didn't know what it was. Oh, what is that? Now, it's honestly, you could throw a stone into a pub and guarantee 3 people will say, I'm a voice actor. And I meet this all the time. I go to like social things occasionally and okay, what have you done? What have you done lately? And they'll go, oh, well, I've done 100 auditions, somebody once said to me. I went, right. And I practiced, Corey, because I'm quite expressive, as you've probably noticed. And so I have to practice keeping my face still. But those cat memes on Instagram when it goes, me thinking I'm looking really nice when I'm not. So I'm thinking I'm going, oh, nice. And actually I'm going, Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's like, okay, 100 auditions. Good. Yeah. But I still work in IT. Oh, okay.
Oh, right.
Well, it's useful when your computer breaks or your mic doesn't work.
Right. I joined a Discord server. I hear that one a lot.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
There's lots of video game stuff on and animation and fan projects on Discord. That's when I do the famous, what you talking about, Willis?
I say that. But if nobody knows what you're talking about, they look at you like you're crazy.
Well, so you know.
I do. I love that show. I think the thing is as well, I've watched something the other day that came in my feed. I thought, what the hell is this? So you've got 2 people who are voice actors. God, everyone's a voice actor. Me and my mum, we're all voice actors. And basically, they'd got some animation, the famous Disney or Pixar movie, and they were dubbing over. Now, I know if you go and learn animation dubbing, that is a way you can do it, and that's fun. But that should stay in a class. It should stay in a workshop. It shouldn't be there for general public, because what you're actually telling people is, oh yeah, I can dub, which is a useful skill, but what I can't do is make my own characters, because I'm copying a character that I don't know, a famous actor has done already.
Sure.
I can do Peter Griffith from Family Guy. Yeah, but so can Seth MacFarlane. So we don't need another one, do we? Unless he passes over, which I'm sure he won't. I don't know why I just said that. Sorry. Sorry. Anyway, but and we don't need that. So why are they putting them up? It's like when people take other people's work, as voice actors have done, and dub over it as if they've done it. What's all that about?
Yeah, I mean that's a common practice.
I would go mad if somebody did it.
That either do that or want to do that. I tell them, look, if you're going to do that, you better make it ridiculously clear that you say this is for demo purposes only. This is not my original work. if you want to play a little bit like that, okay, but you need to put in writing not just a little hard to read disclaimer, but
No.
big letters on the bottom of the screen for
Yeah.
demo purposes only, not my original work. You bring up an interesting point. You use the word work groups, and I'm going to veer into that alley real fast.
Go on then.
This is another thing that grinds my gears, let me tell you, these work groups, because sure, you need to practice your craft, but a lot of these work groups are facilitated, yet again, by folks who aren't doing voiceover full time. And what the question I would ask is, how do you expect to make money when you are devoting and investing your time and trying to learn from people that haven't made money? To me, that makes zero sense. You want to get coaching? Go coach with Tanya. She has made a living out of it. Okay. And I could name a litany of other coaches that are either currently working and have worked forever, or have, collecting their SAG-AFTRA pensions right now because they're vested in there. I can go on and on and on, but there's this thing, especially on this side of the pond, where you don't have to, win a medal running a marathon. You only need to run a lap ahead of the person behind you.
Okay.
As long as you one lap ahead, you can kick down the trough what you learned and charge for it, or burn somebody's time for it. And that is all over the place. I know so many towns. I see it online every day. Oh, we had a wonderful session and we read A Christmas Carol, or we read this, or we performed that, or we had a session and we learned about that. Okay, how much did you bill this month? It goes back to that.
Yeah.
If you spent less time doing all of that stuff and take all these demos that you paid $1 million for, and you learned how to get them in front of people to actually audition for real jobs, or you create and cultivate relationships with people that are voiceover purchasers or referral sources, like real people that'll say, I will hire you, or I know that person in this department who does it. You're going to work with them and create those direct relationships. Where is all that? Please tell me. I know where it is. That's why I'm trying to teach people about it. But it's like, where is that? It just drives me nuts. And I'll say it again. A lot of these folks are very nice, genuine, honest, well-intentioned people. But at the very beginning of the discussion, I use the word misguided.
Yeah, I know. I think, and unfortunately, there are people out there that will take money. I mean, I've had people come to me and they've said, I've had coaching. I've spent thousands of pounds on coaching, or thousands of dollars even, from the UK. And they've said, I always make them audition, and I've worked with them. And I say, well, you can't breathe, and you can't why are you doing that? And what's going on with this? And you're not doing this. And they're going like, nobody's ever told me this before. And I said, well, sorry, you've been coached, but you've never been told any of these things before. This bugs me, because what are they telling them? I have watched people or heard people coaching telling people when they're saying the wrong words, telling them missing out words, the inflections are wrong. Great, that's really well done. And I say to people, it's not kumbaya. It's not all one big happy family. You are competition. You've got to be the best. And so if all the others can't breathe and you can now, you're going to be good. And then they'll say, well, I've spent thousands of pounds or thousands of dollars. Well, I don't want to. And I said, well, not with me, you haven't.
Exactly.
So it's not my problem. You've gone to the wrong
can't be
people.
responsible for their spending habits.
No, I can't. But you'd be amazed what people say. And the other thing that's interesting is in the UK, the showreel business. I mean, it is the same. It is the same in the States. I'm sure that people can go and they can spend 3 hours, and within 3 hours, having had no training, no proper anything, not even any even basic acting training, make a showreel because somebody tells them how to say everything, and they give them proper commercials to voice. So they'll give them big brands, which any producer in the UK, they know they're not the voice of those brands. What's the point of doing that?
That's all over the place.
Yeah, I hate it, because when we do it, when we make showreels, it's like if you wanted to say you were a voice and you wanted to be the voice of, I don't know, Jaguar, right? Okay. So, and you want to do that, I would get an ad written for you in the style of, but it wouldn't be called that. It wouldn't be copying their words, but it would be enough for a creative to hear and say, oh, you know what? This guy could voice for us. He could do that in the style of, that would be what we want. That's what we do, but
That's how it should be done. There, like I said, we use the word pray before, or I use the word pray before. Look, confession time. I'll put it right out there. When I ran the studio and I did it for 3 decades, we would get talent to come to us. We didn't do voiceover demos. We did actually paid spots for people.
Yeah.
But because we dealt with a lot of voiceover talent, they would say, hey, can you produce my demo for me? And I'm not downplaying or dismissing how important proper production is on a voiceover demo. However, mystery revealed, it ain't that difficult.
No. And also when the production takes over, the production takes over what the voice is doing and all you're hearing is the production, or it's too loud or whatever, or the effects, then you think, well, actually, what's all this about? Actually, Corey, can you see that big yellow thing out at the floor here?
I can see that.
That's my first demo.
Is that on 1/4-inch reel? Is that what that
is?
Wow. How about
had it made into a clock. So now I've just had the little word from Alicia because we've got to start wrapping up very soon because you and I could probably talk for hours.
So I need to. Fun.
I know. Well, thank you. Well, maybe we'll do a part 2.
Anytime.
But thank you so much. And I wanted to ask you, obviously, please take this opportunity. I don't know how much you need to promote yourself over here, but I think a lot of people in England in the voiceover scene could learn a lot from you. And so how do they get in touch, or what if they want to work with you? How do you do this? What's the way you work?
Well, thank you for the opportunity. I do have experience working with voice actors in the UK.
Okay.
The easiest thing is, CoreyDissin.com. And I'd make the joke all the time. If you Google me and you can't find me, I'm a terrible marketing guy.
I always say to people, if you can't find, just Google me. And then I think it sounds so pretentious. I'm always like,
just to make it easy. But
no, I know what you mean.
I mean, look, I'm happy to hop on a complimentary discovery call, DISS discovery call. If any talent want to understand how I operate and what they could get if they want to help grow their network and learn how to actually create a voiceover business, happy to have that discussion. I do have this little thing here too. I'm showing it on video.
Going the distance. I love what we've done with our names. Aren't we lucky to have such great names?
We're very fortunate.
We are.
And that's kind of my life story. That's my memoir. It's life lessons inside a tribute wrapped in a memoir. So
I like that, like a burrito of memoirs.
But it's very much it fits the branding. It's 10 rounds to a championship life and career. So I talk about 10 people that influence my life, and I give you life lessons that you can put in your back
how
pocket
interesting.
and take with you.
I'm going to have to read this book now, aren't I?
It's very cheap. It's very cheap, especially if you have the Kindle or whatever that's called. I'm basically giving it away, but I'm not trying to make money on the book. I'm just trying to put good stuff out.
No, but I think it's good that you've done the book. I mean, I've been asked to do a book myself, but but I'm always interested in reading that, and I love the cover on it. It's just so striking. You are a credit to your own marketing skills because your own, as I said, your own branding is on point. You've got it all going on. And I mean this in the most complimentary, not in any weird way. You've got what you're doing is on point. And if you can do that for you, what you must do for your clients must be exceptional.
I figured if I can't lead by example, I have no business operating a business, selling that service. So I am compelled to continually put my best foot forward every day with my branding and marketing. And I'm tough to miss out there, especially on social media. I'm very active, as you follow me for years. But happy to share my knowledge to those who really want to, strap in, hang on, and put in the work.
Perhaps we can persuade you, or I could persuade you, to do a little talk to the Richcraft students one time.
Whatever I can do to help.
Thank you. And vice versa, if maybe I might be of help to you at some point or whatever. I was going to ask you manage talent as well, right?
Not manage in the sense of helping them get business, manage them in the sense of as part of their coaching with me, their business and marketing coaching, I help them make decisions for their career. So they're often running things by me, contracts, NDAs, drafts of marketing messages. In that, they'll
Interesting.
ask me, have you bumped into this person? You ever worked with this studio? And I'll share with them what I know, because I made a living knocking on doors doing that. So in that sense, yeah, I'm not a talent manager in that respect. I had the opportunity to do that, but when I left the production company, I really wanted to make sure that I was doing something that wasn't a conflict with the studio, because look, there are really nice people that worked there, that still work there, that have families. You know, I'm a relentless guy, but I'm not a dick.
I'm a relentless woman, and I'm not a dick.
So I mean, I try to I'll stay in the sort of marketing business advisory lane versus what is traditionally thought of as a talent manager.
Because the talent manager thing is very new into the UK. We don't really have that. We have agents, but most, like for me, a lot of my work comes from my own reputation and my repeat business. But even so there's always never enough room for all the clients. You want more and more and more. Is, you know, that's the game, isn't it? So that's CoreyDissin.com. And as you can see, anyone that's listening and or watching, I'm very small and are you very tall, Corey? I've got to ask you this question.
Maybe on my tippy toes, I'm 6 feet tall.
So. Oh, okay. Well, you're certainly taller than me. I just think I'm 6 feet.
When I had hair, I was 6'2". So
oh, did you have long hair? Did you have big hair?
That grew out.
Oh, no wonder you shaved your head. Okay, I get it.
Yeah. So, I always joke that in high school, the kids called me Juan Epstein from Welcome Back, Kotter, if you remember that character. If not,
I know. I think I know I know exactly the hairstyle you mean. Yes, not good. This is much cooler look.
There you go.
Yeah, thank you so much. So what we're going to do is I'm going to say thank you, Corey Dissin, for joining me on Tanya Talks. And it's been an absolute pleasure. And I could talk to you for hours, actually, because you're a fascinating man.
Thank you. And I'll say truly that I'm humbled to be here with you.
Yeah, go on. Thank you, Corey. Thanks, Alicia.